So, we have liminal. I mean, with this model, with this model, what we're doing is we are having an assessment, we have an exercise, you've got a report, of course, that is a very basic version that you have, but it is applied for, it can be used by trainers, by coaches, at level one and level two. So we have a variety of product lines within this model, which is addressing different segments or different audiences. So you will find here, different levels which we're talking about. These are the different levels of the reports, uh, what it covers, its contents, and what is the ideal audience for that particular level. So level one is talking more about yourself, how you are as an individual. So it's more about discovering your purpose, discovering your passion, identifying your different communication styles, and how do you express them. Now, this can be used very well by coaches. Coaches can exactly can talk to their clients, can actually help them identify what their purpose, what their passion is, what is the communication style they're bringing out. This is the NLP based communication style. So we're talking about different communication style in terms of auditory, kinesthetic, auditory, digital, visual. So what is the different communication style that you have, and how does it align with your purpose, your passion, and how do you present this, which is more about knowing about yourself. Now, the once you know about yourself, we are also going to the next level, level two, which is talking how do you apply what you know. So you have your purpose and your passion, which is understood through this 9 dimension lens. You have identified what your purpose is, what your passion is. Now we are also talking about what is your potential. So how well do you express this? So this points out to that, the point which Judith you had mentioned. How can you apply your best self? So having identified your power virtues, your push virtues, and pain virtues across these 36 virtues, we are now telling how you need to use certain virtues and complement them in situations where you are falling short of some. So this is what you will get in the liminal wheel virtue compass. There's a virtue compass which helps you to identify which of the certain virtues can help you to think, in a specific direction, which of these certain virtues can help you to engage with others, how they can help you to help others, and how they can help you to take actions. So there is a four pronged approach that you can use through the liminal wheel virtue compass. So there are a certain set of virtues which you can use it for uh, each of these four pillars that we're talking about. So this is at level two, and you have received level one and level two both. Those who have taken the exercise. We are going to level three, which is now we are getting a little more deeper into the role. This is very specific to the role. So uh, uh, this is specifically applied to organizations or to corporates, where we are helping individuals to identify. There is a specific job role. To what extent each of these 9 dimensions are required, in which order, in which sequence, and to what degree they are required in that specific role. And how do you align in expressing these dimensions or expressing this inclination in which order, and to what degree for that specific role. So this is after benchmarking, which is what we are doing unique. You have Enneagram, you have 16 PF, you have Clifton strengths, you also have VR. See, all of them focus on talking about maybe your personality. They talk in general about what your strengths are and how are you using them. Here we're talking not only about what you are and what you have, but how do you now apply yourself in context of the role that is required, and to what degree you are applying it, to what degree you need to apply. So that's where you are getting you're getting some unique insights now, from level three onwards, where you are primarily identifying the degree of inclination that is required for the job role, or that is required for a career, for a student. And then you are able to benchmark that against the candidate, or against the student, or against an employee. Level four is talking about effectiveness. Now effectiveness, primarily focuses not only on dimensions. We spoke on dimensions in the model, where we spoke about different orientations of every dimension. Now in effectiveness, we are saying, how are you going to be deploying all these 36 virtues, all these 36, your potential, to the degree it is required for the role? how well are you deploying it and how well you're able to deploy it. So that's where you are able to arrive at the degree of effectiveness for the role. If you're able to use the virtue uh, to the right measure, in the right context, for the right role, in the right manner, then you will achieve your result very well. So, which means that your effectiveness degree could be very high, and the productivity level of the organization, is enhanced very well. So, it's not again, effectiveness and inclination is one part, but I also need to be happy about what I'm doing. So, am I satisfied? Does it align with my purpose? We started talking about purpose. We started talking about passion. Does it align with the purpose? Does it have a meaning in what I do? Does it connect with what I love doing, my passion? And does it have all the virtues that is required for me to work on it? So that's where my fulfillment degree, the degree of fulfillment, is expressed, where we are talking about to what degree you are inclined to the role, effective to the role, but your inclination is not sufficient. It's not sufficient to just have an interest towards a particular role. Being effective is not sufficient, but unless and until you have a degree of fulfillment. So we are also measuring the degree of fulfillment that you would have in specific job roles. So it could be high in certain roles, it could be a little moderate in different roles, but you need to identify how you are expressing that. That's what you get in level 4. Level 5 is, it's not, again, we are now coming to specific interventions. We are identifying that, there are certain virtues which is required to a certain degree in the role, you know, uh, and how, if you're finding gaps in these virtues, if you're finding gaps in some of these dimensions, how, what kind of interventions can help you do well. For example, if you're falling short in the virtue of empathy, you know, the emotional intelligence training comes into play, empathy skills training come into play. How you can use these interventions, to enhance that virtue of empathy. Because virtue, unlike soft skills or personality traits are kind of rigid, or they kind of remain static over a period of time. But virtues are not like that. Virtues, keep changing, because it's again neuroplasticity based on your brain, so it keeps changing. It's very malleable. How? If you're able to deploy the right kind of interventions. And it's not only about training programs, also inculcating the right kind of habit coaching. So if you have habit coaches, if you have the right kind of habits been deployed, and if you're able to have a habit around a specific virtue, you can enhance the impact of that virtue. You can enhance the deliverable through that virtue. So that's why we are saying that this level 5 is more focused on identifying the right habits, the right interventions for those virtues to enhance. Level 6 is more about flow state. So this is based on positive psychology, where we are talking about how you will have, uh, I mean, being in a state of flow is basically being in the zone. You have to be in the zone, you have to be in the flow, you have to be completely immersed in what you're doing. You should completely forget about your surroundings. Say, as coaches, when you're discussing with your clients, when you're giving insights to the clients, you could be in a state of, you could be in a complete state of flow. What are those virtues? There could be some coaches who would draw a good power by deploying the virtue of creativeness. When they are deploying the virtue of creativeness, they could be in a state of flow. Or maybe by deploying the virtue of empathy, that could put them in a state of flow. The flow state actually helps individuals, or organizations, to identify which of the job roles, in a job role, which task, which individual can actually help in identifying the different virtues, and in which virtues they can express themselves very well and allow themselves to be in the zone. So that's the flow state. And then we're talking about the work engagement, which is more cognitive. How can you use your virtues very well, express them to your best self, and be highly engaged at your work. So if you look at it, each of this level is designed differently for different levels, for different population. Level 1 and level 2 can be used by trainers and coaches, because you're only identifying what are the power virtues, what are your push virtues, what are your pain virtues, what you struggle with, what you do very well, and how can you deploy them very well. So, having it for a training program, maybe you can use it for a team building training program. Maybe you could use it, when you're having a leadership training program. But it's more about, how you are able to identify these virtues, and how you can coach or train individuals in that. So it's more applied for trainers and coaches. Level 3 and level 4 that we're talking about is, it's about inclination. It's getting deeper into the role where you're actually benchmarking to what extent you require to perform very well in that role. What virtues, what dimensions will help you to perform the best in that role. So now this helps for talent acquisition. So if you are to uh, recruit the right guy, you know, in an organization, you need to recruit the right people in a role. Then you have to look at, you have to look at to what degree are they inclined into the role, or to what degree are they expressing their effectiveness. So it's more used for talent acquisition, also for talent development. So while you're doing onboarding, so you know that certain virtues are actually driving effectiveness in this individual. You could actually have the right kind of onboarding exercises devised for them, while they are onboarded into the organization. Level 5, level 6, level 7 is more about talent management, succession planning, driving work engagement. For those kind of specialized uh, activities, you could have level 5, level 6, and level 7. So overall, if you see liminal as a tool, these different levels is not just about giving you information, but it's a strategic tool. It's a tool which actually helps organizations. It helps coaches. It could help trainers. It could help CHROs or CXOs to identify what are the pain points in an organization, what are the pain points that the people, and how effectively they can address them in different scenarios, in different situations. So it's about enhancing effectiveness through identifying measurable outcomes. So it's across the board. You can use this in different levels. Now it's not only about corporates. Same thing, you are also able to apply it for students. Even for students, you're able to help students identify in which specific career paths they can be more effective, which specific career paths they can achieve a high degree of fulfillment, where will be their inclination high, and is this aligned with their purpose, their passion, and potential? Is this aligned with these 9 dimensions, this 36 virtues that is displayed here in the model? And to what degree does it align with the careers that they envisage? So it's also very good tool for career coaches. For career coaches, it can actually they can help students to discover the right career paths, where they will find meaning, where they'll find purpose, where they'll find their passion, and which aligns to the virtues that they express very well. So so these are the various levels that we are producing now.